Hey guys, this is Oscar SanJuan here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome to another video topic on real estate. Today we are covering the market stats for March 2022 in Las Vegas. Quick disclaimer, there are other agents doing market reports for Las Vegas. You might see different stats in the categories discussed in this video. Agents across Las Vegas have different sources and those sources might have different data. For transparency's sake, I will link all the sources I have used personally to create this video market report in the description below. First up is the median sales price. March clocked in at $380,000, which is around a $9,000 increase over February. This disrupts the pattern of the $5,000 a month appreciation trend by nearly doubling that equity gain month to month. Year over year, the increase has been marked at $65,000, a surge of 20.6%. Home equity values are still increasing, but now it seems like the rate of appreciation has accelerated. Could tight inventory be contributing, or is inflation playing more of a role as time passes? Now we go to inventory in the Las Vegas Valley. March shows up at 5,748 units, which is a decrease from 5,927 units in February. The huge difference shows up when you're looking at annual figures. March of 2021 displayed 9,112 units being available, which is a significant decrease of 3,364 units year over year. This continues the trend of low inventory that is evident with pre-owned homes and new build homes across the board. This trend of decreasing inventory hasn't reversed since last year, and I don't expect it to change anytime soon. We now cover pending transactions, where a seller accepts a buyer offer and the transaction goes into escrow. March sits at 51,382 units being under contract, marking a slight increase of 53 more units being under contract when compared to February, which is a small rebound when the difference between February and January was 236 less units being under contract. This monthly increase is eclipsed by the annual gains, which reflects the willingness of buyers to meet rising home equity values over the past year. March of last year had 46,561 units being under contract, which marks an increase of 4,821 more buyers getting their offer accepted. However, when comparing the March annual gains to the February annual gains, the March annual figures are comparatively lower by a factor of 2,524 less contracts being accepted. While the monthly figures technically rebounded, it's still smaller than the negative difference shown between February and January. March annual figures are bigger in gains. However, when comparing the March annual gains to the February annual gains, it's not nearly as impressive. Is there a steady decrease in buyers being financially able to submit offers? We go from pending to the final stage of an escrow, which is closed transactions. Simply put, these are the amount of home transactions that finish escrow and transfer home ownership to the buyer. March clocks in at 51,737 units closing, marking a noteworthy decrease of 495 units when compared to February. Same as pending annual figures, the increase in closed transactions is considerable. March of 2021 sat at 44,354 closed units, showing an increase of 7,383 units year over year. The yearly numbers reflect the same buyer willingness from the pending stats, but the monthly gains are a different story. 495 less transactions closing is something to note, especially since last month's comparison was marked at 471. The fact that the same degree of negative difference from the last month repeated and the annual gains are showing decreases in their size implies that the market is cooling off. We now go to our final stat, which is median days on market. Or in other words, how long it takes for a listing to go live on the market to an accepted offer. March sits at 8 days on market, which is the same as February. Annual gains are impressive yet again, where March of 2021 showed units being on the market for 17 days. If a seller puts their property for sale at fair market value, buyers should know that the property will not last long. In summary, the seller market continues. This is supported by low inventory, home equity values increasing, and the low amount of time a property stays on the market. However, it seems like we're now seeing a definitive decline in buyer activity in the realm of pending and closing transaction activity. While monthly pending figures made a technical rebound, it was a small increase of 53 transactions, when last month's decrease was marked at 236 transactions. Closing monthly figures have repeated the decrease of the last month as well. Meanwhile, the annual comparisons are still impressive for pending and closings, but the annual increases are decreasing in their scope. This seems to mark the start of a seller's market that is cooling off. What could be the reasons for slowed contract activity and less closings, even though home equity values are making accelerated increases? First off, inflation is in favor of the homeowners. Some people recommend investing in real estate during times of heightened inflation. Inflation technically increases the home equity values, and if the homeowner has a mortgage, inflation makes the mortgage debt cheaper. On the flip side of that, the significant increases in home equity prices out the prospective home buyer. This is further exacerbated by the fact that wages are not keeping up with the rate of inflation, making it harder for prospective home buyers to buy a home. Secondly, interest rates are increasing. Even slight increases in the interest rate can make or break a home buyer's budget, since those differences manifest by the buyer paying hundreds of dollars more monthly and by paying tens of thousands of dollars more over the life of the loan. Last but not least, the inventory keeps steadily decreasing. In the grand scope of things, the difficulty of fulfilling the dream of home ownership has increased considerably for would-be buyers. If inflation and interest rates still go up in the future, then it's only going to get harder for buyers as time passes. The end result of such things is a real estate market where prospective buyers are priced out of the market. Before we put a bow on this March market report, I upload various educational content on my social media channels, not just YouTube. My other social media outlets have shorter form content, or YouTube is more for the long form real estate topics. Links will be in the description. Well, that wraps up March's market report. If there are certain stats you want to know about or want a specific topic covered, please do let me know. If you got any feedback, that is also welcome. This is Oscar SanJuan with eXp Realty, signing off.